SonicNews! A new show appears. It's super effective. I am SSF. Alright. Hold my finger, please. Please? No? Screw you. That was polite. Ugh. Live from the magnificent state of Virginia, here's your host, the news dude of Sonic Paradox, Sonic Sega Fan, 1991. SonicNews.
This is the Sonic News Show's special presentation.
That bumper's so charming, isn't it? Hi. Hello to everyone at Sonic Paradox. It's hard to believe, when was the last time I've done a Sonic News show? I cannot even remember. But I've finally wiped off the dust off this show. That's become quite notable for its guests and its own little thing. And yep, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the return of the Sonic News show. And I guess it's only fitting that I bring it back in one way that I felt was probably fitting, and that was to bring it back with a special pre-E3 special. So there's so much to talk about. My God, we've seen the last time I did a show, I think Sonic Lost World had just been announced or something like that. I can't even remember exactly, but I know one thing for sure: Sonic Boom was not announced. So yeah, it's been a long time. It's probably been over a year now. Actually, I think it has been a year since the last show. Now that I think, because I remember doing a show for E3 last year, and and that's right, I did the episode with Clement on as well at one point recently. So no, the show is still. There's still some episodes going. So, but yes, guys, welcome to the special pre-E3 edition of the Sonic News Show. I am very, very glad to finally be on the air again. I can see I have 3 viewers here. I'm not particularly surprised that there's a small crowd, considering I'm kind of got to get used to the trend of E3, like the trend of the show again, to kind of build back the crowd again. So, for those who are watching, hi, and welcome. So, there's Leaderbro, as I can see, and we have, actually, crowd's kind of, I think the viewer count's kind of a bit inaccurate, because I can see more viewers, more users in the chat than I think is initially told, because I see Defini 101, Leaderbro, Sonic Mundo, some guy named Sonic Sega Fan 921, and Technolad 97. So hello to everyone watching. This is the Sonic News Show. It's finally back, ladies and gentlemen. The Sonic News Show is back. And it's hard to believe, but it's time to, it's time to get down to the nitty-gritty. E3 is literally not even, how long has it been now? I know it's been a year since last E3, but in fact, the last time I even did the show was, I believe, before I even had this new computer, I think. But, it's only, I'd say, 17 hours left until E3 begins. I don't know what I'm going to be doing overnight. I probably should sleep, but I don't know yet. I probably should, though, considering I'll probably be up tomorrow night as well, considering the late slumber, like the late, time I'm going to be spending, but I don't know yet. It's going to be really interesting, though, to see how things turn out. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. E3. I don't know if you guys can actually, okay, you guys can see the chat thing, so I'm glad that I am aware of this. But yeah. So that's E3. Like in a nutshell, like how I can't even begin to explain how hyped I am for this year. It's no doubt going to be interesting. Specifically because there's just no hardware we have to worry about. There's no hardware that's going to be showcased. You know, all the consoles have been released. Now it's just games, games, games. I really hope that things go well. So we will see. You know, we'll see. Anyone see the IGN meltdown on NeoGAF? No, I have not seen that, Bogard. You'll have to link me to that, because I have not seen anything in regards to an IGN meltdown. But considering this E3 hype is real, and the tensions are, I wouldn't even say it's there's tension, but there's certainly a lot of suspension in the air, because no one knows what any of these companies are going to be doing. Everyone is in this for the long haul. Like, there's no one that's got momentum except perhaps Nintendo because of Mario Kart 8. But even then, like, it's pretty much anyone's game right now. Like, Microsoft can easily pull out on top of E3. Sony could pull out on top of E3. Nintendo could pull it out on top of E3. You know, you may have had Nintendo with their Mario Kart 8 momentum, but you got Microsoft with their Connectless Xbox One that they're coming out in, I think this week, I believe. Either this week or next week. There's definitely looking to be quite a bit, and we don't even know what Sony's got up their sleeve. I mean, we know of some stuff, but we don't know everything. But one thing we are aware of, Connect may not be talked about, and I'm kind of glad about this. And the reason why I'm kind of glad about this is because it's the fucking Connect, so, you know. Gene, you do have a bit of a point there. It does feel like everyone's kind of going through the motions, and it's like I said, when it comes to E3, I've noticed that typically, when hardware is shown, that's when the hype really does go up. The thing is, though, is I think when there is hardware to be shown, people tend to start leaning towards that company because they tend to have, they're going to have a show, like a show from the hardware, so they have a lot more hype going into it compared to everyone else where they just got a few games they might show off and that's it. But I will admit that there is definitely some low points, and I am going to explain that although there's quite a few games that could show up here, knowing the past of some of these companies, it definitely kind of lowers the hype level for me quite a bit, and it really does make it so there's not that much to look forward to compared to others where they got, to certain others where, their standards and their preferences are a lot bigger, so they got a lot more up in the air. But I will be going details into like each respective company and what I feel they are going to need to do to win their E3, conferences and all that, and to get the most appeal, and what I think they will do. So what they need to do, and what they will do. Because, like I said, what you think is going to happen, and what will happen are two entirely different things. It's apples and oranges to a degree, and I don't really feel like it's wise to talk about both at once. So, and I will be going through that, and I will also be grading companies based on their pre-E3 hype levels. Meaning, how well did this company do leading up to E3? Because, like I said, today is the last day before E3. So, today is the end of the pre-E3 hype train. And like I said, in approximately looking at the time, I do believe there's about 19 hours or so left until E3 begins with the Microsoft conference. So there isn't that much time left. Like I said, the E3 hype train is almost done. And I agree, Gene. I would like an F-Zero. I would like a Metroid that's, actually good. I would like that, and I'm going to get to that later on when I get to talk about Nintendo. That I will admit that Nintendo probably has the most hype out of everyone else. Not just because of the fact that they've kind of been keeping things under wraps, but because they have a couple of games that are really driving up hype, along with a lot of mystery surrounding their other games. So they have that sense of mystery and that sense of what are they even going to be doing for their conference. Well, technically their digital event, but you may as well call it a Nintendo Direct. Honestly, I don't even know why they're calling it a digital event, but I'll get to that later on. When, like I said, I get to talking about Nintendo. But so I suppose I should give the lowdown on kind of what we've had in terms of any pre-E3 news in the past month. Like I said, I already mentioned Microsoft announcing their Xbox One model that will not have a Kinect. It will also be $399, I do believe. I think it was supposed to be $399. It was either going to be $399 or $349, something around there. Or was it? I can't remember. But they did have a cheaper version of the Xbox One that will not have a Kinect. Nintendo, meanwhile, has announced their Smash Brothers tournament, which I am quite intrigued by. Because, like I said, this is something that's never been done before. It's that sense of, going to a breath of fresh air. I don't know where this is going to go, but again, I'm going to save that till later on. But they did announce that their this upcoming Smash game will actually there will be a USB sort of GameCube adapter that you will be able to plug in your GameCube controller in, so you will be able to play the original Smash Brothers on your GameCube controller with your GameCube controller, which is pretty damn cool. I'm hyped. I like the side of that because being a Melee veteran, I love me some GameCube controller because the controller is very comfortable and I'm used to the controls for that, so I can immediately go into this game with some. I can immediately go into the game with some sense of experience, and that's something I like. But anyway, I do think that was pretty much everything. I mean, other than that, we did have the big Sonic Boom unveiling back in February or so, and now just a few days ago or so, we had the. Well, actually, it was more like a week ago, but we had the. A week ago, we did have the pre-E3 Sonic Boom news overload. I'm going to be quite honest, I did not like that. I did not really like the fact that they announced all this stuff before E3. I would have preferred that they waited until E3 itself, because you just pretty much killed a lot of the hype that was leading up to E3, just like, if I could snap properly, like that. So I can't snap properly at all, but then again, I do have tinnitus, so I can't exactly hear my snaps properly. But anyway, random note. I really would have preferred they just waited until E3 itself to make all these announcements, but yet at the same time, I guess they didn't want to get overshadowed by all the big game announcements that are going to come from Microsoft and Sony and Nintendo and them. So I'm kind of torn between the two a little bit, but I'm leaning towards the fact that I really feel like they could have easily waited until E3 itself, because now that I've actually seen like what's going on with all the big gaming companies, as it turns out, there was indeed looks to me like the games were still going to be put in the spotlight during E3, and there won't be any overshadowing. So when I think about it, I don't think there's really any point. But that's, like I said, I want to get to discussing more about the individual companies and how they did as I get to it. I don't think it's really wise to get into the get right down to stuff before I really want to talk about it. So, but with that in mind, E3 begins technically on the 10th. June 10th to 12th will be when the show floors will be open. However, on June 9th, as is every E3, there is always a day reserved for conferences. Now, June 9th is generally, like I said, the day before the show floor is open, but it is also the day where we get a load of conferences and a load of news, and generally that sets up the show floor itself anyway. So tomorrow, and I do believe, I'm going to have to bring up some pictures here real quick, so you might see my thing here. That's just me quickly, because I forgot to bring something up anyway before I started the show. It shouldn't take too long, because, you know, this is just me finding the images I need to find. Okay, that's one. This should be two. Yep, that is two. I think this is the last one right here. Alrighty then, so I was just bringing up a few pictures real quick to kind of so I can bring down the lowdown towards the times and all that. Now then, Microsoft conference. So tomorrow, June 9th, is technically when people do consider E3 to really kick off instead of the day the expo floor is open, because like I said, conferences and all that. June 9th begins. E3 begins on June 9th at 12:30 p.m. Eastern. So this is 9:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 a.m. Mountain Time, 11:30 a.m. Central Time, as I said, 12:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 p.m. GMT, and 5:30 p.m. UK time. That is tomorrow, and that will be Microsoft's conference. So that will be the start of Microsoft's conference. Now then, that will probably go, from what Microsoft is saying, they are going to be going for 90 minutes. So, with that in mind, that will be how E3 will begin. However, the E3 2014 coverage from yours truly will be starting at 9 a.m. Eastern. So that will be approximately 3.5 hours before Microsoft conference begins. So we're going to be driving up the hype for a few hours, you know, kind of counting down and everything to the start of E3. And I will not be using Livestream Procaster for this, by the way. I will be using XSplit, paid XSplit, mind you. So that's going to be a huge boost right there compared to last year. And of course, like I said, I have a better laptop than I did last year as well. So that means you shouldn't see that much in the way of. I can't you know, confirm that there will be no lagging whatsoever, but I can confirm that there should be less than last year. So, I mean, if I can recall correctly, Nintendo's conference was really the only thing that really lagged. Everything else was generally tolerable. So, I think at the very least this year you should see a bit of an improvement. But yeah, there's that. But the E3 2014 coverage begins tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, and as I said, Microsoft's conference begins at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time, so there is that. Now, as we go throughout the day, this will be a day full of conferences, full of demos. We do have one Sega demo that will be streamed, and it will be happening later on that day. However, the thing is that it will be right in between two conferences. I put a lot of emphasis on this. It will be happening literally right in between two conferences. So I'm trying to sort out the times here, kind of lowering the windows a bit so I can pull times like so. Alright then, so with that in mind, you have pretty much quite a bit to look forward to. I do mean that quite a bit. There is a lot to look forward to. But after Microsoft ends, we're going to start the countdown to EA's conference. EA's conference begins noon Pacific, 1 o'clock p.m. Mountain Time, 2 o'clock p.m. Central Time, 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. GMT time and 8 o'clock p.m. UK time. EA is probably, well, we'll get to that when we get to that. But after EA's conference, which from what I've seen from the live TV schedule on Spike TV, it goes for an hour. So we will, at 4 o'clock p.m., we are going to turn the focus over to Alien Isolation demo. The very first Sega demo will be streamed at 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. That's 1 o'clock p.m. Pacific Time, 8 o'clock p.m. GMT, and 9 o'clock p.m. UK Time. And it'll be over at Game Trailers. So, it will go for approximately an hour. So we'll have an hour or so of Alien Isolation demo. I assume it's precisely the Alien Isolation demo. To be fair, though, from what Game Trailers is saying, it will actually be kind of a mix between a few other games being demoed. So what I think is going to happen is we are probably going to be looking at Game Trailers streaming the conferences on June 9th. And then maybe on June 10th switch over GameSpot because of another demo, one I think people will be a little bit more interested in. A little. But I'll get to that when we get to June 10th itself. But Alien Isolation demo will be going during the time frame of 4 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time. So in that hour time frame, we will be getting information about Alien Isolation. And it'll be on Game Trailers, www.gametrailers.com/E3 if you want to actually go to the link and check it out yourself. You can also go to www.sonicparadox.net and all the information will be there, including all the links, including all the times. Everything's right there for you, just like that. So you don't even need to type in the link. You can just go to www.sonicparadox.net. Hell, you're probably already on there now watching the show, and you can see it there. So there you go. But other than Alien Isolation demo, we're pretty much going to be looking at just the conferences for that day, and maybe the demos that are going to be shown off in between. I should note, while on the stream you'll probably be seeing Game Trailers is online, I will probably be looking at the Xbox live feed, app stream of Game Trailers, just like I did last year, because from what I've noticed, it was better, you know. It seemed like it was a lot more accurate. Not to mention, it seemed to me that it was more helpful in terms of getting the word out quicker. And it looked like it started immediately, too, once they went live. So, I think Game Trailers' pre-show is supposed to start, I believe, 11:30 or so. I think it's supposed to start at 11:30 or so. So, we're only going to really have, like, maybe 2.5 hours of, just me and you guys in the chat, and then perhaps we're probably going to get down to the nitty gritty. I've been saying that a lot, but we'll see. Then we have after the Alien Isolation demo, Ubisoft has their conference, and Aisha Tyler is going to be returning, so we know where this is going to go already. 3 o'clock p.m. Pacific, 4 o'clock p.m. Mountain Time, 5 o'clock p.m. Central Time, 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern, 10 o'clock p.m. GMT, and 11 o'clock p.m. UK Time. This is going to be going until late, guys. Tomorrow is going to be a long day, and it's going to go late. The sun, more than likely, by the time from when I start to when I end the coverage tomorrow, the sun will not only have probably risen quite a bit, but it's going to fall down too. So the sun's literally going to be rising and falling in the entire coverage tomorrow. So it's going to be a long day, and I hope you guys are ready, because I know I'm ready. I'm going to probably grab like maybe 3, 4, 5 drinks and just sit them over here next to me, because it's going to be a long day. I don't know yet, but we'll see. But we have Ubisoft. I don't know how long Ubisoft's conference is going to go, but I would probably assume that's going to go for at least an hour or so, perhaps. Maybe an hour and a half. Either way, it will be done in time before Sony's conference starts up. Which, by the way, Sony's conference rounds out the day tomorrow. Sony's conference starts at 6 o'clock p.m. Pacific Time, 7 o'clock p.m. Mountain Time, 8 o'clock p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern, 1 o'clock a.m. GMT. So it gets so late that it'll be literally into the next day for the people overseas. 1 o'clock a.m. GMT and 2 o'clock a.m. UK time. I really do feel for you guys in the UK. I really do. But yes, we do indeed have that much to showcase. There's 4 conferences on June 9th, tomorrow. However, that's not going to be the end of the coverage, because even after that, there's still going to be stuff more likely to talk about for an hour or two. So I will not be ending, because Sony's conference will be going for another... I wouldn't be surprised if they went for an hour and a half. So it'll probably not be until like 10:30 p.m. or 11 my time. So like I said, an hour to an hour and a half after Sony has started their time. And for all we know, they may end up having the same case as last year where they were late. Because if you guys haven't remembered, they were late last year. I should also note that they are going to be having a pre-show 15 minutes before the main event itself, the main conference. So, have that. I don't know if we're going to be watching that, because I think it's just people actually arriving there or something like that. I know Microsoft's doing something similar to that, but Game Trailer is going to be covering that anyway, so we're going to be seeing that. Otherwise, we'll probably be doing like maybe an hour and a half or so of post E3, like post post day one stuff there. Something like that. What like our general impressions of how day one went and how all the conferences went, our first impressions. However, even though I'm going to be ending the coverage at midnight Eastern, so that's 9 p.m. Pacific time. For those who are curious. However, I will be going for even longer. I will not be ending the coverage on that day alone. There will be another day of coverage on June 10th. And June 10th is when is going to be an hour. It's going to start at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern time. So that's 7 o'clock a.m. Pacific time. And not to mention, it's, I'd say, 3 p.m. UK time. So 3 p.m. UK time will be the start of day 2 of Sonic Paradox's E3 2014 coverage. And with that, we're going to start... you can pretty much call June 10th Nintendo Day. There's just nothing but Nintendo events, I'd say, on that day that people are going to be looking out for. So, for the first, for the first hour or two, we're not going to be doing anything important. Like by now we've pretty much seen all the conferences. Nintendo is the last, however, to do their little digital event. Again, like I said, I don't know why they don't just call it a special direct, because that's essentially what it seems to be becoming. But on June 10th, we have Nintendo's digital event. That will be taking place at 9 o'clock a.m. Pacific Time, 10 o'clock a.m. Mountain, 11 o'clock a.m. Central, noon Eastern, so it'll be right at noon, right at the middle of the day. Nintendo's doing their conference in my time zone. 4 o'clock p.m. GMT, and 5 o'clock p.m. UK time. Now, this will probably go for about 45 minutes to an hour, I'd say. After that happens, the day will pretty much be demos. There will be none but demos from then on out, for pretty much the rest of the day. But one highlight in particular is going to be happening near the end. And there will be a Super Smash Bros. Wii U tournament happening at 4 o'clock p.m. Pacific Time, 5 o'clock p.m. Mountain, 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, 11 o'clock p.m. GMT, at midnight in the UK. And while that's happening, about 40 minutes into the tournament, I don't know how long the tournament's actually going to go, but it probably won't take 30 minutes, I know that, but 40 minutes into the tournament, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be changing gears from the tournament, and very quickly shooting over to www.gamespot.com/E3. We're going to be heading over to GameSpot at approximately 7:40 p.m. Eastern. That's 4:40 p.m. Pacific, 11:40 p.m. GMT, and 12:40 a.m. in the UK. Reason why is because at that time, GameSpot is going to be on their on GameSpot's Stage 1 cam at E3. They will be showing streaming a live demo of Sonic Boom. So the very first Sonic Boom demo is going to be streamed there. More likely, Stephen Frost is going to be the one presenting the demo to the people watching at home and to the GameSpot staff that are there speaking with him. And that'll be probably one of the last things we see. And then after the demo happens, more than likely, what I'm probably going to be doing is we're going to have the Smash Brothers demo playing like side by side, like to the side, while Sonic Boom demo is going to probably have all the sound on. So that way we can see both at once. So that way you guys don't miss the tournament at all, and we can still commentate over it. Yet at the same time get this, see the Boom demo. That's probably what I'm going to try to do, depending on how bad the quality is. But we shall see. We shall see. But the Sonic Boom demo is going to happen at GameSpot. Now then, after that day passes, there's pretty much nothing else in terms of conferences. So from then on out, it's just going to be demos. And on June 11th, there is going to be a ton of them. And I really do bluntly say there's going to be a ton of them. There's going to be approximately 4 demos that have been confirmed that will be streamed, on June 11th. Now, I know some of you might not actually be watching the stream on that day because that's the first day of Nintendo's Smash event, which I'm well aware. Their Best Buy event for Smash Brothers. That's the first day. The second day is going to be on the 14th, which is going to be off of the coverage, so that won't be a problem. But now then, the coverage starts as I pull up the coverage time here. The first day of the Sonic and Sega news coverage at E3 2014 begins at noon Eastern on June 11th. By the way, I forgot to mention that the coverage on June 10th will end at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern. So, and that's pretty much what I'll say here. From then on out, from June 10th to the 12th, from then on out, every stream ends at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern. Just to clarify. Get that out of the way. But at noon Eastern on June 11th, we will be seeing the next day's E3 coverage start for June 11th, and literally from the start, there's going to be demos, there's going to be stuff like that. However, I am not going to be talking about, all the other demos, but there are 4 demos I am going to mention here in a row. At from 10:40 a.m. to 11 a.m. Pacific time, that's 1:40 p.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern, 5:40 p.m. to 6 p.m. GMT, and 6:40 p.m. to 7 p.m. UK time at GameSpot's feed. So once again, this is going to be at GameSpot's feed, but this time it'll be at their Stage 2 Samsung camera feed. They will be streaming Alien Isolation. So we're going to be getting more Alien Isolation at that point. Now, the reason why we're going to be looking at all these demos, watching all these demos, is because typically you never know if something new is going to be said in this interview and something different is going to be said in the other interview. That happens with this demo. So each demo can actually have new information. So that's why we're going to be looking at each one. So just to clarify, that's why we're going to be looking at all these Alien Isolation demos. And all these Sonic Boom demos and stuff like that. Because they could easily have something new each time. You never know. But that is the first Alien Isolation demo at GameSpot. Then another Alien Isolation demo is scheduled on IGN. That's www.ign.com/events/E3. Their demo of Alien Isolation takes place from 3:20 p.m. to 3:40 p.m. Pacific Time, 6:20 to 6:40 p.m. Eastern Time. As I see, I've actually kind of made a couple of typos here on my picture. That's kind of embarrassing. I'll probably fix that after the stream. So, not after the stream, but after the show here. 10:20 to 10:40 p.m. GMT, 11:20 to 11:40 p.m. UK time. So, quite a few of these demos are only going for 20 minutes, which makes sense. That's at IGN. Another Alien Isolation demo will take place on Twitch's stream, twitch.tv/event/E3. That'll be taking place from 4 to 4:20 p.m. Pacific Time, 7 to 7:20 p.m. Eastern Time, 11 to 11:20 p.m. GMT, and 12 to 12:20 p.m. UK time. I believe that. No, actually, that's a. Why do I have that as AM? Or why do I not have that as AM? So I gotta make a few adjustments here, because I've made some typos on this thing. So that'll be it with the Alien Isolation demo. So as you can see, there are 3 Alien Isolation demos, one right after the other. But don't worry, guys, because after all these Alien Isolation demos, from 5:40 to 6 p.m. Pacific Time, that's 8:40 to 9 p.m. Eastern Time, sorry, 12:40 to 1 a.m. GMT, and 1:40 to 2 a.m. UK time. So that'll be literally right at the end of the stream, the coverage stream. Will be a live demo streamed of Hatsune Miku Project Diva F Second. So Hatsune Miku is going to be, the new Hatsune Miku game is going to be streamed. A demo of it will be seen on GameSpot's feed. Again, we're going over to GameSpot's feed. That's their GameSpot Stage 2 camera feed. So there's that. And then that'll be it with that day's events. And then finally, on June 12th, we're going to be wrapping things up on that day. So from noon to 9 p.m. Eastern will be the day's coverage time frame for that. The only highlight for that, as far as I can see, will be the Sonic Boom demo that will be taking place at from 3:40 to 4 p.m. Pacific Time. That's 6:40 to 7 p.m. Eastern, 10:40 to 11 p.m. GMT, and 11:40 p.m. to 12 a.m. in the UK. So that is pretty much everything. Probably going to go through that day with a little fanfare, I'm sure, because by then I think everyone will have known. We'll probably have all the lowdown after that demo. So, and then after that, we'll probably just be, after that demo happens, we'll probably spend the day talking about how E3 went and, things like that. And, now then, things that I can confirm for this conference, for this coverage. Feel free to hit me up at www.ask.fm/SSF1991. There you can ask questions, any E3 questions you may have about Nintendo, Microsoft, EA, Ubisoft, Sony, Sega, Sonic, anything E3. That's www.ask.fm/SSF1991. Again, you can find that link at www.sonicparadox.net. I'll probably include the Sonic Paradox homepage in the description of the YouTube video version of this show, so not to worry, that'll be there. But indeed, quite a lot of links, I know, but that's what happens when the E3 rolls around. There's a lot you gotta cover, but indeed, I can confirm that there will be any questions you guys have. I will be answering them through Ask.fm. So if you guys wish to ask any questions, you can go to the Ask.fm page I have and just stated. I will probably be having some live guests on. There are a few that got in contact with me just the other day saying, "Hey, I want to be on your E3 stream." I'll let them on. And more than likely, they're going to be making a ruckus. So we're going to be having a party during these conferences, I can assure you. But I can tell you it is going to be hilarious. Now then, other than that, we will be, like I said, giving you the latest information, telling you all what you need to do, keeping you in the know-how as to what to expect, constantly updating you guys on the time so you guys know, hey, this is when the next conference is going to happen. I am going to be having on the stream literally a countdown, more than likely, to the next conference, so that way you guys are well aware when the next one's going to happen. So just so you guys are aware. Now then, with that in mind, I don't really know too much, but I will tell you this much: I'm just as clueless as to what's going to happen as you guys are. So this is going to be interesting, but I will put the emphasis on this. The main focus, other than the conferences and the Smash tournament, will be, because I say the Smash tournament because Sonic is supposed to be a playable, we will be seeing someone in the tournament playing as Sonic. So there's a chance, that Sonic might win the tournament. We will see. I'm not counting on it, but you never know. But the focus is going to be on the latest Sonic and Sega news. So you're going to be getting all the latest information on Alien Isolation. You're going to be getting all the latest information about Sonic Boom. You're going to be getting all the latest information about Hatsune Miku Project Diva F2. And who knows, you may even get the latest information if Sega somehow pulls a sudden game out of their hat. I don't think that's going to happen. I think, knowing Sega, they don't generally. It's been a while since they have announced a new game at E3. So I will state that for the record. Do not expect a new game to suddenly be announced. I think we're going to just be seeing these 3 games, and that's it. Other than that, the only other thing to really worth mentioning in regards to the times, they can still easily change at the very, very last second. I just realized earlier today that there's actually a Radio Sega show I'm supposed to be doing on the 12th at 3 p.m. my time, which is a few hours or so before the Sonic Boom thing is supposed to happen. However, by the time this finishes, the Sonic Boom demo won't have happened yet, but there may be a time where I'm probably going to have to, for an hour and a half, not stream, or if need be, find a way so that way, I can show off the E3 coverage and just mute my mic. I'd have to figure out a way, though, to kind of mute the Skype audio, however, so that way, through XSplit, so that way you guys can't hear the call. But I don't think that's going to be able to be possible, so what I'm probably going to have to do is just stop the stream for an hour and a half, and just do that, but we'll see. Like I said, I know this is a lot to take in, but trust me when I say this, it's all worth it. But indeed, looking quite forward to this, but there is still a bit more to talk about. Now we have to get to what I was teasing earlier. What do Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, EA, Ubisoft, and Sega all need to do if they want to be able to win E3? I haven't Sega included in there because, well, this is a Sonic fan site and Sega fan site technically. So, to be fair, I do want to give Sega some attention as well. Even though they're not going to have any briefing or conference or whatever. They're just going to have 3 games and be showing them off and, being all pretty and stuff. But what does Microsoft need to do to win E3? Well, for one thing, don't fuck up. Like, that's the number one thing I think Microsoft needs to do. Don't fuck up. Don't do what you guys did last year where you continued talking about Kinect, I believe. I think they talked about Kinect a bit. They were mostly about games last year, which was nice. But they still talked about TV, I believe. They still had a music concert on, I believe. They still talk about sports as well, I think. I'm trying to think of this based on memory. I think the sports was at a minimum. I think TV was at a minimum. think music concerts are at a minimum. I think all these are at a minimum, except I think Call of Duty. I think. So that's pretty much my advice as well. Don't talk about any of those whatsoever. We've had enough Connect. We've had enough Call of Duty. We've had enough sports. We've had enough of the music concerts. This isn't Woodstock, okay? This is the Electronic Entertainment Expo. This is E3. This is a gaming industry convention. We don't need music concerts. We don't need TV. Can we stick to what people actually go there for, which is the games? Speaking of which, I would highly recommend it if I could to Microsoft. Please show plenty of games. I'm glad that you guys are actually hyping this up by saying that that they've literally called their press briefing Game On. I like that. I like how they continuously say we are showing games. We're going to clarify this. Now then, I'm glad that they're going to be showing if based on what they're saying, I'm liking this. Microsoft is definitely upping up their game this year. And I think it's partly because of the fact that they have a new CEO this year. They have Phil Spencer instead of Don like last year. So this is good. I'm glad to see that Microsoft is starting to turn things around a bit. Finally, they seem to be getting their frickin' they seem to be getting their shit together, and I'm glad about this. It's still going to take maybe another year or so before I feel like they've gotten back on track, though. It's still going to be a bit, but they're getting there. I think now that we're starting to see the 180ing, I think the connectless Xbox One was a great idea. That really is going to help. I mean, yeah, their policy things have changed, but I fear that Microsoft could potentially go back to that again. I hope not, but you never know. I do think Microsoft is starting to take a turn for the better, however. I think they're starting to get, like I said, I think they're starting to get their shit together, and I think this is the year where the dark age of Microsoft, I guess you could say, is over. I think this is the first year we're going to see that coming out party, which I'm glad. If they do well this E3, and they do well next E3, I might start considering maybe seeing an Xbox One, coming up in 2015. We will see, though, because it's going to also depend largely on what Sony does. Speaking of Sony doesn't have as much to do to win E3 as Microsoft, mostly because they haven't had a lot they have to sort out. There is something they do have to sort out, though, and that's the lack of games. And when I mean the lack of games, I mean there's really nothing they have to release this year. There's nothing. All their games have been delayed repeatedly, and it's starting to go the way the Wii U did in the first year or so that the Wii U came out. Now the PS4 is having a similar, streak here, and that's not good. So what Sony needs to do is show plenty of games, and preferably some that actually you hear a lot of static. That might just be the AC going on. I don't think I can really solve that. Plus, I was kind of just moving the controls a bit. I was just messing with the mic a bit just now, so that might have a little bit to do with it. But I would prefer that if Sony does show a lot of games, I would prefer that that some of these games come out this year to fix Sony's game schedule drought, because they really do need to fix that drought. There is just no denying it. If they want to keep the PS4 going, momentum, they need games to come out this year. With no games coming out this year, that's going to be a year where, of pretty much a dry year, and you don't want that. So that's the case. The other thing they need to do not dwell on social networking so much. They have been guilty of this for the past few years, where they just seem to continuously talk about social networking so much in their conferences, and I would like it if they actually stop that. They were doing that last year, and I had this feeling they were probably going to last year. this year they need to stop that. Like I said, this needs to be games. You know, I don't expect it to be just games, like as in just 100% games, but I do at the very least expect, you know, all this stuff to be kept to like a complete minimum. I do feel like that needs to be kept to a minimum. Like I've said, all the consoles are out. There's no more of a need to talk about social networking. There's no more of a need to talk about, you know, policies and stuff like that. The consoles are out now. There's nothing more, you know, to really get with this. So, but Sony does. I think Sony again, just like last year, they have a little bit of an easier route with this E3. Out of the big three, and I hope Sony takes advantage of this, because Nintendo, they actually have the most that they need to talk about, because as we know, the Wii U is not exactly in the best of places. Nintendo, I really hope you show something other than Mario. Please, no more fucking Mario, Nintendo. No more. We just had Mario Kart 8. We've just had Super Mario 3D World. We've just had Mario Golf on the 3DS. Enough with the Mario. Like, I know it's your main mascot, you know, but people don't want just Mario. You know, I would like it for there to be a Star Fox game. I would like for there to be an F-Zero game. I'd like for there to be, you know, a Metroid game. They did confirm that there will be a Zelda game that will more than likely be shown off. Which is going to be very nice. I do want to see something other than fucking Mario for once. Because that's pretty much just about all we got last year. We did get a Donkey Kong game. We did get more of the Smash Brothers info, including the announcement of Mega Man, which no one saw coming. I feel like we need to take a break from the Mario. We have enough Mario now for the time being. Next year, then we can start thinking about Mario. But for now, we've gotten enough Mario. No more for a while. We should not be hearing a single trace of Mario during this digital event, Nintendo. We're done with that. Can we just, you know, we need to see something other than Mario. That's not going to help the Wii U. If Super Mario 3D World was any indicator, there's only so much Mario people can take. Okay, so, but like I said, you need to show a wide variety of new games. Show off the Zelda game. You know, show off Metroid. Show off F-Zero. Show off some different franchises. Don't just stick to one game and talk about that for like 10-15 minutes. You know, we have Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire that are more than likely going to be shown off. Let's not dwell on that too much, because Pokemon Ruby, you know, well, to be fair, the remakes of Ruby and Sapphire, I should clarify. We know what Ruby and Sapphire are going to look like. This is essentially a remake, an HD port of Ruby and Sapphire. You know, there's really not much we can. Whoop, apologies for the bumping in the microphone. Like that. We pretty much have already seen. What we've seen, one bit of the game. That's all we need to see. We don't need to dwell on this for 10-15 minutes, you know. We've seen all we need to see about that. So I don't want to see that become a focus in the digital event. I will be sorely disappointed if that's the case. Because I don't think I'm going to probably get those at the time for the time being. But with that in mind, I do feel like if there's one thing Nintendo does need to do in regards to Mario, if there is something they absolutely have to do in regards to Mario, I think they should capitalize on the momentum they've gotten from Mario Kart 8. As all we've heard recently, Mario Kart 8 has sold 1.2 million copies in just the first few days alone, counting the release day. This doesn't count this past week. Alright. Mario Kart 8 has technically been out now for a little over a week now. We don't know the We know of the 30th, 31st, and 1st in terms of sales. We don't know the second to today. So, we don't know the full-scale amount of the sales yet, but it's looking positive. I think Nintendo really does need to capitalize on this momentum, because bar none, that could be what may very well help Nintendo get themselves out of the situation they're in, and may even help themselves push forward, because honestly, Microsoft and Sony are still behind Nintendo a bit in terms of sales. All Nintendo needs to do is take off again, and the amount of Wii U sales can skyrocket quite a bit. Like I said, that's part of that needs to be done with the games. That pretty much ties into both, in a way. I also feel like, to be quite honest, I think a price drop might be in order too. I mean, this is a bit more of a Plan D thing or something like that. Like a little bit of a thing, like a little nitpicky thing. But if Nintendo does announce a price drop for the Wii U, that would be kind of nice, considering now the console has been out for a couple of years, and I think it might be getting to that time now where a price drop might be needed. However, I'm not sure. But if a price drop is announced, I think that could be very well helpful, especially with Mario Kart 8 and all. But I don't think it's really, necessity. It's kind of like a bonus thing, so to speak. Now, that's the big three covered. EA. As long as EA doesn't overdo it on sports, they'll have a decent conference. They'll have a conference that it's not embarrassing. However, I know EA well, and I have the strange feeling that probably 90% of their conference is going to be spent with sports. Because that's all EA has is sports. There will more than likely be Madden. There will more than likely be FIFA. There will more than likely be NBA or something like that. And, they will more than likely have like 4 or 5 sports games are going to be showing off. However, from what I'm hearing, they do have quite a bit of non-sports games as well. So we'll see. But it's going to be interesting to see what EA does have to show off. So, as long as they don't overdo it on sports, we're good. Ubisoft. Just, if you're going to try to be funny, please improve your jokes. This is the same thing I had last year, but they didn't exactly stay true to that, and I doubt they're going to stay true to that this year. Please, Ubisoft, can you just try to be funny for once? Make your jokes better. Do we really need hashtag Girlwood like we had last year? That wasn't even funny. That was just fucking stupid. Okay? There's nothing funny about that. And especially having it on the shirt, too. If there's anything that I've noticed from Ubisoft, it's that they're not funny. And their jokes have fallen flat so much over the years. Otherwise, if they can improve their jokes, just don't make the jokes at all. People aren't here to see, Saturday Night Live or whatever. This is, like I said, E3. Why is it that a lot of the companies forget that we're at that people are actually at a gaming expo, and what people want to see are gaming hardware, games, video games. Can we just stick to that? And better yet, don't overdo the banter. Literally talk about what everyone is there for. You're a gaming company. You have games to show. How about we actually show them? Let's not spend an eternity talking to each other with this weird, awkward talk. I think it was a couple of years ago where they had, a host, and they had Tobuscus there as well, a YouTube user and stuff. And they kept bantering with each other throughout the conference. It's like, no one wants this. Why is this even a thing? It was just wasting so much time that could be spent with the games, Wasted so much time spent, talking about Ubisoft as a company and what they're planning and, stuff like that. But they hardly talked about the games in that conference. It was just banter after banter after banter, and it got boring quickly. You felt like they were doing some kind of comedy show rather than a freaking gaming conference. I'm fine with having a company having a personality. I'm fine with game companies forming their own personality during their conferences, but don't overdo it. People people are not here for jokes and shit. People are here for the games. They want to hear what you guys are. You're not here to, to be awkward. You're not here to, yap your butts off about nothing. People want to, people about Tobuscus and about Girlwood and stuff like that. And doodly doodly doo. People are here. People are showing to E3 for the games. So can we just focus on the games? I mean, I can understand straying a little bit from that every now and then, to a degree, but keep it to an absolute minimum. Maybe make that like 5 minutes of your conference, maybe 10, but don't make it throughout the whole freaking thing. Don't be like I think it was either Microsoft or EA, where they had a fucking music conference at one point, like a concert right in the middle of the conference. Remember what people are here for: the games. The gaming consoles. That's why people go to E3. Not because of music conferences, not because of TV, not because of, social media shit. Where people are there for the games. Can we just stick to that? Don't have these celebrities here that you can tell are nervous and feel like they're not supposed to be there, and they really shouldn't be there. We had a wrestling star at one point last year show up in one of the conferences. It's like, what is going on here? Why are they there? Just stop. We just give us games. That's all people want. And unfortunately, quite a few of the companies are just failing at that. Now then, that's Ubisoft. Sega just, I feel like what they need to do is advertise their new games as much as possible. Get Hatsune Miku out there. Get Sonic Boom out there. Fortunately, they've been really doing a good job at getting Sonic Boom out in the public. A really good job at that. Hatsune Miku has been no problem either. I think they've been doing a really good job getting their 3 games out there. I really do feel like they've been doing a good job at that. I want them to keep doing that for E3. Keep the interest out there. Keep things going. Keep the momentum going, so that way, they can keep things going and maybe get some sales going out. Especially now that we're seeing the Wii U selling like crazy, it may actually help with the sales for Sonic Boom when it comes out, because by then, a lot of people are going to have a Wii U. If the game doesn't sell, then we're going to have a problem. That's why I felt like with Sonic Lost World, it wasn't exactly fair to judge the game's sales, because it was for a console that wasn't exactly doing its best. There wasn't that much in the way of sales, and even then, as we've discovered, the console is not actually doing bad. The game itself isn't actually doing bad. It's average. It could be better though, but it could be worse. That's the thing. So, Sonic Lost World, I can't really say for sure. I think we're probably going to get more information about the Sonic Boom cartoon as well during E3. We might get another preview. But I'm hoping that most of all, we finally get an exact time as to when the show is going to premiere. At the very least, I have no doubt in my mind we were going to find, fall this year is when we were going to, I have no doubt in my mind that we'll probably be getting more information about the Sonic Boom cartoon at E3 as well. To be quite honest, E3, Sega will probably take that opportunity because that's when everyone's focusing on Sonic Boom and their games and all that. So I think we're probably going to get another bit of information about the cartoon. Maybe another little preview. Maybe another... maybe a little more information about what's going to be happening with the show and all that. But most importantly, I want to hear an actual... I bumped the microphone again, I apologize. I want to hear an actual premiere date. I want to hear when the pilot is going to air for the show. Because we really haven't gotten any of that, We have heard only that it's going to premiere during the 2014-2015 season. that's not enough information. I think it's high time now we get information about the exact date. Like say October 2014 will be when the cartoon will premiere. Something like that. We've gotten it now for the cartoon, or not the cartoon, but the game. We now know that Sonic Boom will be coming out on Wii U and 3DS in November of 2014. So it'll probably be around October, November, around there, that we might get the cartoon. But it would be nice if we actually were made official. But I do think Sega really does need to bring their A game here. I really do think that. Now then, that's what all the companies will need to do. But what do I think? What will they do? What do I think is going to happen compared what I hope happens? Like what I think, what they should do compared to what they will do. Microsoft will probably have a conference similar to last year, but because the Xbox One is out now, there won't be as much hardware discussion. So I think the gaming focus will be a little bit higher this year compared to last year. I think they're going to show quite a few games, but I think they're going to be non-exclusive. One thing we've noticed is that last year we had a lot of non-exclusive Xbox One games. This year, I think that trend's going to continue. I also think that there will be another meme that comes out of this conference. Last year, I don't think we really had that much in the way of memes per se, other than the Villager during Nintendo's bit. But well, to be fair, Bogard, they do have 3 brands. They have Hatsune Miku, they have Sonic, they have Alien Isolation. Technically, they're still doing Super Monkey Ball, so they have 4 right there. So I think they are going based on more than 1 or 2 brands. They're getting there, but I do feel like they need to put a few more games out than just that. So I do feel like Microsoft will have a little bit better of a conference this year than last year's, but I don't think it's going to be the best one still. It's certainly not going to be a bad conference, but Sony, they need to prove that they're better. They need to get out there and say, hey, we are better than Microsoft, we are better than Nintendo, here's why, get our console. That's what they need to do most of all. As I said before, I really do feel like the social media shouldn't be a focus, and I would much rather that it just not be in there at all during the conference, because now we've gotten the consoles out, we know the full scale of entertainment value and all that. Let's stop at that and just stick with the games. Speaking of the games, please, if Sony, when you show your games, I would much rather I would especially like to see some games that are going to be out in the next 12 months. Like I said. However, I feel like although they are going to show some games, I don't feel like they're going to, solve the drought that they're having with the release schedule of Sony's conference. So I think that for the most part, Sony's going to have a okay conference, similar to Microsoft. But I think it'll be a step above Microsoft, simply because I feel like, Sony's a bit better when it comes to talking about games than Microsoft is. And they don't dwell on stupid shit as much as Microsoft does either. So they're going to have a level above Microsoft in terms of quality in their conference. Nintendo. When it comes to Nintendo, I feel like we're actually going to get some Wii U Virtual Console news. I feel like Sonic Boom will actually get a little bit of discussion as well. It's likely, it's not definite, but it's likely that we might get some Sonic Boom info. We are going to be hearing some Zelda Wii U information. I feel like we're going to get a trailer for Zelda Wii U with some gameplay, a little bit anyway. I feel like we might get some Yoshi Yarn info, some more of that. We're going to be getting quite a few new games. That's a certainty. Smash for the upcoming Smash game. I feel like Captain Falcon will be the confirmed character for this. There's no doubt in my mind that there will be some more confirmed characters announced. I think Captain Falcon will be the one confirmed. However, I think that will be the minimum. The maximum will be, I feel like the entire character roster will probably be officially unveiled this E3. High time, because mainly because the 3DS version is supposed to be out in a month or two from now. So I feel like now's the time that we need to stop being secretive and start unveiling the roster. But now then, that's how I feel like Nintendo's gonna do. Like I said, last year Nintendo was I think it's kind of up in the air as to how well Nintendo did. But we'll see how things go. EA, I feel like they're going to be spending a lot of time talking about sports games, and that'll probably take up a lot of the conference. So the EAs will probably be just as the same as last year. Ubisoft will probably have more lame jokes. They'll probably show about maybe 3 or 4 games, and another meme is going to come. I think a meme is going to come out of this conference as well, potentially. Sega, I think one thing I don't think people realize. We did get some Sonic Boom information. We did get quite a few. However, there's one thing we didn't exactly get, I don't think. I'm trying to remember. Is that I don't think we actually got a trailer for Sonic Boom. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think we actually got a Sonic Boom trailer, like an actual official trailer from Sega. I'm trying to remember. I think we did, but it was a very, very... I'm trying to remember what exactly it was. I don't think it was actually a gameplay trailer. I think it was kind of something else entirely. I don't think it was like a trailer per se. It's just a video of sorts. But I think Sonic Boom, like Sega will actually put out a actual trailer for Sonic Boom. I think we're gonna get an actual true gameplay trailer for Sonic Boom, along with Hatsune Miku and Alien Isolation. If we haven't had trailers for those already, I think we're gonna get some trailers on that. I think we're gonna, like I said, get a few more details on both the 3DS and Wii U versions of Boom. I think we're gonna get a few more details, not a whole lot, but a few. As for the cartoon, I think we might get an announcement of a premiere date, but nothing more, because E3, like I said, is based on games, and gaming consoles, and that's pretty much what it should be, I think. Nick, my coverage tomorrow starts at 9 a.m. Eastern, not 5 p.m. That was 5. That was the SonicNews show I'm doing now. Anyway, that's pretty much it, though. That's what I feel companies are will be doing this year. Last but not least, though, the pre-E3 hype grades. This is how I felt Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, EA, Ubisoft, and Sega have all done with their, pre-E3 hype. Because, as I said, today is the finale, the pre-E3 hype train. We could finally officially grade the companies based on how they did for this. Microsoft gets a B from me, mostly because they've been really putting a lot of emphasis on the fact that they are going to be focusing on games, and their Connectless Xbox One announcement really did help things out as well. So Microsoft actually gets a B from me this year, highest grade I've given them in a while. Sony also gets a B because, well, the games. So it's actually looking pretty interesting to see how Microsoft and Sony do this year. I'm thinking that potentially we may actually have a better E3 from both of them this year. Believe it or not. Now then, Nintendo. Nintendo actually has an A rank because of their Zelda Wii U unveiling, their Smash Brothers info, and loads of games they've been keeping secret. As we know, there's quite a few games that they've been kind of keeping secret. So we've got quite a bit to look forward to, guys. Nintendo is probably right there with probably at the top in regards to new games that they haven't announced yet. So we're probably going to be getting the most gaming reveals from Sony and Nintendo this year. But Nintendo in particular, I think. EA, they're not going to have that much in the variety. They're just going to have shooting games and sports, more than likely. But they did hint that they are going to have 6 new games to show off in their conference. So we have... keeps their conference, there keeps their grade from being a D, so it's actually a C this year. You know, Ubisoft, they looks like their games look a little bit more promising to show off this year than EA's, but again, it's not exactly something to be, you know, gaga over. So Ubisoft also gets a C. Sega, meanwhile, gets a C minus for 2 reasons alone. The game list is slightly smaller this year compared to last year's, I do believe. And a lot of the news we've gotten from Sega was announced before E3, so their hype levels are not exactly the best. So, unfortunately, Sega has the worst grade out of all the companies in regards to E3 hype. So, solely because the other companies have kept the hype going a bit. Sega hasn't, you know, to a degree. I mean, we have gotten new information, but like I said, they haven't really, they've kind of made it lackluster in terms of, you know, E3 itself, which is what I'm kind of putting emphasis on. Is we're supposed to be getting hype for E3, and Sega hasn't exactly done that, you know. They've just hyped us up just for the games later on down the line and not for E3 itself. So that's where I feel like it kind of, yeah. But with that in mind, that's pretty much everything I need to talk about, to be quite honest. That's everything. So with that in mind, I hope you guys have enjoyed this. It's been quite a show. Like I said, 9 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time is going to be the start of the E3 2014 coverage. This is going to be my 5th year watching E3, and my third year covering E3 for you guys this year. So this is going to be a doozy. I'm looking quite forward to this. So we shall see how things go, guys. I am really looking forward to it. I hope you guys are. Boys, it's going to be a doozy. But now, with this, the countdown to E3 begins. Big time. It's the final countdown, ladies and gentlemen. So, hope you guys are ready. I sure am. Let's get this E3 train rolling. I will see you guys tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time for the E3, for Sonic Paradox's 3rd annual E3 coverage. Hope you guys are ready. I know I am. Let's see some games. Let's do this shit. I will see you guys then. For now, take care and have a great night, everyone.